Hello YouTubers, Andre from the DIY bench. Okay, so today I want to talk about my laser to router conversion. First of all, before I start with the changes I've done, I just want to say that it's really not the way to go to change a laser to a router. There's just a lot of problems. It's not impossible, but maybe a scratch build is a better idea. But for those of you out there who may be in the same boat as I was, I'm just going to give my tips, and maybe they're useful somehow to you. Okay, so the reasons for my laser to router conversion was I had three major problems with this machine, and it used to be a laser, 100 watt C02 laser, and I had alignment problems right from the start. Doing an initial laser alignment on it was fine, but the machine would, as it moved on towards the right, it would just stop cutting, or the cuts wouldn't go through all the way. I never really tried to fix the problem, and I think it's just going to be a question of realigning the guides. I think it would be as easy as that, but I never really tried that. I think I would have tried it if the other things didn't happen. So the second thing that I had was the C02 tube just backed up. It just got weak, and Redsail, they replaced it, but I still had to pay the shipping, and it was still a lot of money. To ship a C02 100 watt laser all the way from China to South Africa was like a couple of $1,000. And lastly is the driver card that goes inside the PC. It just blew up. I don't know how that happened, but that was also, obviously that was not under warranty. So Redsail had replacement cards, but it was so expensive, and that was the end of the line for me. So I just decided to convert the machine, and like I said, it's not the way to go there. A laser doesn't require much torque, but as soon as you put a router on there, you need a lot of torque, and the slides needs to be properly in place and tied down. Okay, so I'm just going to start here. The most obvious thing that's visible here is the machine has got two beams running across. I added this front and with a linear guide. It already had this one, which with one pillow block, and it was the only thing really to guide the laser, and it was, I mean, that was fine. And going to a router, I mean, you really need the strength, so I just put on another beam across. It had a belt. I just opted to put a chain on. I used the belt for a while, but it worked. But I think a chain is just the way to go. On the sides, it still has belts on both sides. Those seem to work fine. I've never had any problems with those. Here you can see the router, or the spindle as they call them, and that's coupled to a VFD that sits here with a keyboard. It has ER16 at the bottom here. Got all the other parts for it right here, the collets. So I opted to use the ER16 because you've got much more variety of end molds to use in there. I think if you have a smaller unit in there, you can only use like a 7mm end mold, and that's a little limiting for me. Okay, going over here, I've got my monitor hanging from the top, and I ripped out the Redsail controls. This is the original emergency stop, but I replaced the panel that was inside here with a joystick, a PC button to start the PC, and then obviously my Z up and down controls. I've got a keyboard here, and obviously I've got the mouse and the keyboard here. The reason for the keyboard here is if you do touchdowns with a touchdown, then when you're down here, it's hard to see the keyboard up there, so it's just easier to work if you have your controls down here with you. Okay. The electronics bay. In here I only have a small power supply, original power supply that I still use. I replaced the driver board, obviously I've got another power supply. Coming to the back here, then other changes I've done, the stepper motors, obviously I had to replace them. They were 4-wire steppers, and these are 8-wire steppers, and because of the control card I've got in here, which is a hobby CNC unit, I could not use 4-wire steppers, so I had to replace them. And at the back here, see there's a box here, and my PC is inside there. I wouldn't say it's dust proof, but it's a little dark here, but it works. The table is not metal, it is soft wood that I drilled a lot of holes in, and in there I use these linen misters, I don't know what you call them, but yeah, it's to hold everything down, and I must say it works pretty well. Sometimes they would wear out, but I have not had that, so that's not really a problem. And yeah, this is one of the big laser machines I bought. At the moment I've got a working area of that, which is big enough for most things. Obviously I had to give away some working area, as the spindle now sits in the middle, and the front beam obviously will only move up to a certain point because of the end stop here. So you give away a little working area, and as you can see, the wire is only 700 at maximum, and you have to align it properly, otherwise it would run over. I will go into the detail of each part, what exactly I've done, to give more detail to people who's really interested. I'll make a video covering those, and hopefully somebody out there can use the information I give out, or not use it, it doesn't matter. I think of all the videos I watched on YouTube, there's something that you see in every one of them that you can put to good use in your own build, or just to keep in mind maybe. But yeah, this laser I imported from China a few years ago. I imported it myself. Wasn't the best choice at that point, but I learned a lot. There's a lot of lessons out there importing stuff, especially from China. But I mean, at the end of the day, the machine is not scrap. I've used a lot of the parts and other things I did, and it was nice to have a body for the machine to mount everything to. Like I said, the conversion can be done, no problem, but in order to make the machine stronger, and a lot of work need to be done. And there's a lot of wooden parts here, like the piece at the back here that I would like to make aluminum, but to get your hands on it big pieces of aluminum like that is hard to come by here in South Africa. Now, for those of you, like I said, who are interested in the more details, I'll make a video at a later stage of what I've done to all of those. I'll also show the parts I used previously on my first attempt and what I've got in there now. So thank you everybody. Have a good day. Cheers.